So I just wanted to do a few short tips for teaching dialogue that I use with my students. So a lot of my students, and if you're a teacher, maybe your students as well, you'll see that they tend to lean towards, when they first write dialogue, they want to be saying something like, oh, hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? And like that kind of back and forth. And so I find one thing that I'll tell them, which seems to strike a chord, is I'll say, okay, just cut out any 4 lines of dialogue between your characters. Okay, just like cross it out. And then if you do that, have you lost any vital information to the story? Like anything vital about what the characters are doing, their conflict, their goals, their motivation, their personality, their challenges that they're dealing with right now, the conflict they're facing. Have they lost anything related to that? Here they look. No? Okay, then that is bad dialogue. So you can tell kind of that quick little check there. Just kind of see, ask yourself those questions. Have you lost anything vital about the character development or anything vital about the plot advancement? If you haven't, then you don't have the sort of strong dialogue you need. So that's helped them. They've been able to kind of see, oh, okay, this is what I need to include in my writing. Another thing is just experiencing dialogue. Of course, we're in a time now where we're maybe not interacting with people as often, unfortunately, but when you are in person with people, I think just listening to conversations and really paying attention to the conversations you're having are really helpful. I think being somewhere in public, like a sporting event or even just like a coffee shop, is a really great environment because you can overhear different conversations and really hear people maybe meeting with friends and how they might talk in a different way than when they're meeting with, say, a cashier who might be a stranger to them or an acquaintance. And so you can overhear some of these different interactions and kind of get a feel for what's natural between people when they converse. And using dialogue more from like texts or written dialogue is not as great, so I really think it's helpful when students go out in person and really hear dialogue exchange between each other, or even they can do this virtually, like over Skype or Zoom or something similar, and talk with others to kind of get that style as well. But I think that's really helpful too, just to sort of experience that. Another thing they can do is to just watch some movies and see how the characters interact. I have a lot of students who are fans of the Marvel universe, and there's just some pretty good, sometimes cheesy, but also like quirky dialogue there, and it's almost always about like the character development, and a lot of it is about their conflicts that they're facing. So the dialogue is there, it has a purpose, and they can sort of see that firsthand. And there are a lot of course, like great movies and books that they can read and watch and experience that and get to know that a little bit better. So I think that helps them as well. Those are just some tips that I was thinking about as I was working with my students this week and we were talking about dialogue.